What's up, my friends in the film fandom, wherever you may be and however you may be watching? Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time. Boy, things are really getting kind of exciting. A whole lot of surprises, some good Deathclaw fights. We are getting down to the nitty gritty here in season 2 of Fallout. Here to talk about it all with me, of course, is the Fallout expert in our community, my hetero life page here. What's up, brother?
Yeah, this one went off, as they say. There's a lot of crazy shit that happened in this one. A couple things I'm actively looking for pictures for. There were some references to the game, some big references to the game, really. So, yeah, no, this one was exciting. There was some cool stuff in this one.
Yeah, me not even knowing the game half as well as you do. There was even some things I kind of looked at. I was like, I bet you that's a game reference, right? I bet you that's something that's significant. It's like an Easter egg of sorts. But more so than the Easter eggs is by far just the story stuff that happens in this episode. I mean, there was a lot of really, really deep, at least television Fallout lore that kind of gets attacked here, and there's a lot of stuff going on everywhere. Let's get right down to it. The handoff begins with I'll go to this picture, so I don't have a whole lot of pictures to go with from this episode anyway. The handoff begins with Stephanie Harper as a woman known as Joan, played by Natasha Henstridge, for those of you who remember her amazingly beautiful face, fleeing a restricted area for the Uranium City internment camp in Canada, which I'm sure you know more about than me if it's from the game, and being chased by a group of people. They escape gunshots but find themselves under an airship and in front of a soldier in power armor who tells them to return to the camp. But before the soldier can shoot the pair, their person runs up and suicide bombs the suited soldier. At this moment, Stephanie wakes up from her nightmare back in the vault with Chet sleeping beside her. As she recalls the rest of the memory, it reveals the person she's escaping with was shot and told Stephanie to go south to the Canadian border and find somewhere warm. The other woman says that there is a flood coming and that Stephanie needs to cling to the highest branch so she can find and survive. The woman says that if she has to hurt people, God won't judge her, and that Stephanie shouldn't think of people as she hurts as people, but as Americans, which was a very interesting thing for her to say. As Stephanie makes her way south, she slices a man's throat open for a can of pork and beans. Very brutal. When she gets to the border, the customs guard calls her beautiful, and soon after, that guard is dead as she makes her way into the U.S. And that's the becoming Stephanie moment that this episode leads off with. The last couple episodes have led off with some really interesting action, really, really chaotic stuff that kind of makes you sit back for a minute and catch your breath before you watch the rest of the episode. Jeremy, how close is this anything that happens in the game? And even if not, just how cool is this opening scene to you?
It's cool to finally get a little bit more background on Stephanie, because again, with some of these characters, I'm like, so what's your deal? What makes you important? Especially these ones that have been around, pre-war, like Stephanie has. So yeah, I think it happened so fast. I think the captions, like, for a second, I caught that she said something like "mom," like stop, and I was like, so it's her mom that died, apparently. Sure. Still sucks. That's a good motivation as any, I would think. I'm trying to find, because I know that excuse me, it's part of the lore with what happens with Canada is there's a loading screen that even has like a map of it where it says the US annexes Canada. It's like, yeah, so a little reason to be sore about that. Which in this, the first thing that comes up, actually, Canada, popularly referred to as Little America, or the Big 51, which is what you see in the which is what you see in the outro credits. Come on. Oh, good Lord. I guess a basic overview, as this says, Canadian citizens were issued temporary status IDs listing them as residents of the new U.S. annexed territory of Canada. Violence escalated, as you would think, and security detachments equipped with combat armor were sent to suppress the Canadian population and resist any movements. So, yeah. I kind of, as funny as that line kind of is, which is like, don't think of them as humans, think of them as Americans. I'm like, yeah, and you're immediately getting your throat slit for that. I'm like, that's fair. So, yeah, kind of cool to see like where she's come with her background, that she escaped out of Canada, and I guess made her way down I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but we see her in Vegas, and she comes across the young Hank McLean. So we kind of get an idea of how she, skipping stone across to where she's at now in this vault, getting married to Chet, which I still didn't understand what her play was there, but that was a cool scene.
I think they'll make that clear at some point, but I mean, like, why are you even kicking it with Chet? I mean, I don't understand why you two are together at all, but whatever. I'm sure they'll explain it.
I hope so.
But yeah, I thought that was a wild opening sequence. There's a couple of things that I got out of it. I mean, as soon as it was done, one of them is it makes it pretty clear that's young Stephanie, and I was kind of interested that they were trying to give you maybe some sympathetic feeling towards her character, right, considering that we've basically hated her from the moment she came on screen in season 1. And we've hated her more and more and more every scene that she's been in the show. And then you lead off with kind of this moment that kind of makes you feel a little sorry for her. Another thing that I thought was that line about don't think of them as Americans, don't think of them as people, think of them as Americans, I thought was kind of interesting because as I've done my studying during World War II, and I think the Germans said something similar about Jews, as I recall. They were like, "Don't think of them as people."
Yeah, if you dehumanize, it's a lot easier to commit crimes.
I think that exact phrase, "Don't think of them as human, think of them as Jews," was actually used by Nazi propagandists in World War II, which I thought was some pretty hard-hitting dialogue. I was like, "Wow, this day and age to use something that incendiary, even just in dialogue in a movie, I thought was pretty bold." But I mean that's just
on, man.
Yeah, but that's just where you're in a weird version of America where who the hell knows what happened after 1950, whatever. The other thing that I got was, dude, I love Natasha Henstridge, always have. She's got like Katie Sackhoff level of nerd cred because of Species and other things that she's done. The fact that she was in like the first 5 minutes and then not in there at all, I'm like, God, what a waste! What an absolute waste! I mean, don't get me wrong, I was happy to see her. And it was a very exciting, very powerful scene, very powerful sequence. But I was like, God, if you're gonna bring her in, I mean, God, get at least an episode worth out of her, not 5 minutes. She's too good. She's a big name maybe not as big.
Yeah.
We talked about when we were talking about the last episode of Stranger Things, and I thought they didn't really use Linda Hamilton's character or just Linda Hamilton, period, very well in the last couple episodes. They didn't use her enough. You have Sarah Connor, you've got to give her as much screen time as you can without taking away from the story. But Natasha Henstridge isn't quite there. But I mean, you've got her. She's extremely popular in the sci-fi fan community. She's a great actress. She's beautiful. Just 5 minutes of her, really? You could have made this like an episode arc. I mean, I don't know, whatever. But that was what I was thinking when I got done with the sequence. What were you going to say?
Well, we saw about 5 seconds of Ron Perlman, and we're like, cool. We might mention that next season, though. Like, I know we're probably going to get him again.
Yeah, he's going to come back. I mean, it wasn't like he had that mini conversation with the ghoul, and then somebody came in and whacked his head off, and that's all you're going to get of him. But I mean, still, I was like, come on, you've got a fantastic actress like Natasha Henstridge, like I said, who's got some high level nerd cred because of some of the sci-fi shit that she's done, and you use her for 5 minutes.
I found a picture of one of the like I said, the loading screens. It's from Fallout 3. This is what I'm talking about. So you see this every once in a while. That's kind of the build up to it, is the U.S. annexing Canada. So it's just kind of funny lore in the background when you got a loading screen going on, and it's like, oh, that happened. It's interesting. So that's what I was talking about.
It's only 44 years away, so I mean, there's time.
I know, like I said,
there's time.
It built up, like I said, and they even mentioned in this, 25 years of a resource war that's been going on. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of also part of it and what ended up happening. And like I said, other things fell into line like this, that tensions boil over to the point that they do, and I guess things go nuclear, you could say. So, literally.
Yeah, but moving on to the next thing I wanted to discuss, I'll go back to this picture. Later on in the vault, this is the day before Chet and Stephanie's wedding. Chet asks Stephanie why they're getting married, and Stephanie very angrily replies that she's working, doesn't want to talk to him. Chet continues to silently do his dishes like a good little house husband, I guess, but finds that the sink is clogged by what looks to be Woody's glasses. Noticing this, Chet decides to ask Stephanie if she's seen Woody lately. She states that he's been sent to a leadership exchange program in Vault 31. So Chet, for reasons that I don't understand, snaps the glasses in two and dumps them back down the sink. I was like, for one, I don't know if he knows anything about plumbing. It's not really going to solve his problem. But, for two, I was like, that's evidence that you might need if you want to hold that over her later on. Be like, hey, why do I have his broken glasses I found in the garbage disposal? Obviously, what we see a bit later on this episode, we'll talk about here in a minute, that Chet's fully on to her now. He's trying to find some way to, at least he's thinking about trying to find some way to try to expose her. That was the scene where he obviously has kind of crossed the Rubicon, and he's definitely anti-Stephanie. What do you think of that scene? Was it shocking that he found those? I was actually kind of shocked that she would try to put them in the garbage disposal, but it's TV.
Of all places, I don't know why that's what she landed on. I mean, interesting visual though, if it's like it's not hitting you over the head of like, yeah, she definitely disposed of Woody. Like, yes, I think we get the the subtle reference. So that makes me wonder, like, okay, so what happened to his body? I mean, yeah, the vault's big enough. I mean, she could have stuffed him somewhere, and there would have been no trace of him, or how those ended up there, and why you would stupidly leave them like I don't know. And also, stupidly, why would Chet then just like get angry, break him, and throw him back down the drain and try to turn it on? I'm like, dude, the hell? But I think Woody's no longer on this plane of existence with us, as far as we know. So that sucks, man. Like, I'm like, yeah, it's always one good-hearted character, and I'm like, damn it, he's gonna die, isn't he? I hate that.
He had red shirt guy in Star Trek written all over him when I saw him earlier this season. I was like, yeah, he's. As soon as I saw him eavesdropping on the conversation, I was like, yeah, something bad gonna happen to you, homie. Sorry.
Yeah, that vault suit was red, not blue. I think is what we're going for. Yikes.
Yeah, but I thought that was pretty interesting because I mean, look, like I said, it was also interesting because you just spent the first few minutes of the episode trying to make me feel kind of sorry for her. Her being on the run in Canada and something wrong with her mother.
Yeah.
But then you immediately get back to this. You're like, oh, this one scene reminds me why I want to watch her die a slow, painful death. I do think it was cool that, like, at one point in the episode, she's sitting there brushing her teeth and her eye patch is off, and you can see like her eye not there. There's just a hole where the eyeball should be. I'm really mad that I couldn't get a picture of that because I thought that was a pretty interesting visual. I mean, the CGI was really apparent, but yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool visual. And she's brushing her teeth so hard that she's spitting out blood. Her teeth start bleeding. I was like, damn, you are a special kind of person. There is something deeply rooted inside you that is not working out well for you to like be that kind of. She's got like a psychotic thing about her now.
Yeah,
and I think it's interesting because, like, as interesting as that opening sequence was, it can't tell her whole story. I mean, because she has both her eyes for one thing in that sequence. We haven't seen whatever happened to her that made her lose one of her eyes. There's got to be other things that have made her
got attacked in season 1.
Oh, that's right.
Wasn't it when they got it?
Okay. Yeah. Now you say I remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you say I remember. Okay. Yeah, it's been a while since I've watched season 1, but yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. Just you give us that minute to where we kind of like, oh well, maybe she isn't so bad. Maybe she's quietly, kind of closetly, like kind of a good guy, and she's just kind of dealing with the circumstances. No, she's still a bitch. She killed Chet. Yeah. She has no problem starving out, Leslie Uggams in her vault and all that. You're like, oh yeah, she's still a twat. We hate her, but it does then pivots over to the. God, I wish I had more pictures. This aggravates the hell out of me.
Well, here I think
I'll throw one in real quick from the last meeting with Leslie Uggams. Where is it?
Yeah, I've got this. Like I said, this picture of Stephanie here. I'm like, it's the eye patch, and I'm like, you tell me that isn't like the most Bond villain-esque look that you've ever seen on somebody? I mean,
oh yeah,
it fits. Yeah. She's yeah, I mean, like we've seen even from something recent like Walking Dead, like someone like the governor. I'm like, yeah, he has an eye patch. He's just kind of inherently evil then. I mean, sorry if you have to wear an eye patch for whatever reasons. It doesn't make you evil. I'm just saying it makes for a good villain, for that visual.
I'm trying to find the I could have swore I saw the picture of them like meeting in the thing.
Oh, and her and Betty.
Yeah. Because I've got the last couple of videos worth of stuff, but don't know where the hell they're at. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, I guess we can just go with this one. It'll help a little bit. But let's see. There's him in all his grace before he meets his untimely end. But when the episode pivots to Overseer Betty, it's revealed that the water rationing is still in effect. The situation has gotten so bad that taking showers and flushing the toilet have been outlawed. Wow, what a terrible way to live. In her office, Betty opens the safe hidden behind a painting and takes out that box of keepsakes, lamenting Hank and his secrets. As Stephanie requested, Betty leaves the box for Stephanie between vaults 32 and 33. Betty says that she has spies watching Stephanie and mentions that she learned so much when Stephanie was, quote, still under, assuming that means when she was still in cryostasis. Betty reiterates that Stephanie said she'd revert 50% of the water production to Vault 33, and Stephanie says that she'll get her water. As she takes the case to Vault 32, Betty doesn't want any part of what Stephanie is doing, to which Stephanie states the deal was for water. She can't promise anything about the future. That's bigger than both of them. And obviously that's a reference to bigger plans that are afoot by Vault Tech for the individual vaults themselves. Jerry, what do you think those plans are? I mean, you know the game more. You've been watching this series the way I have. It could be a lot of different routes that they go. Where do you think they go with this thing?
Well, like I said, they do keep dangling that FEV virus kind of over the season. And I wondered if that had been the plan. What I'm wondering is why didn't it happen yet? Or like what, did they maybe just not have the means, or I don't know. Is it a slow burn? Is it not quite taking effect? I don't know. Because again, you're trying to force mutations into people, which, I'm sure that's not easy, or, it doesn't just happen overnight. But I don't know if that was the whole thing. Like I said on the last show, I was like, I feel like this may have been what the experiment in the vault was going to be, because I'm like, not most of the time you're in a vault, it's like, yeah, some shitty experiment's going to happen to you, unfortunately. So with all the atrocities that some of these people have done, I mean, I still don't really know Hank's entire plan here, because like I said, I know he's kind of twisting the truth of like, I'm helping these people because they're all, they forgot who they were. They all just do their job. They're all happy. They're all great. I'm like, well, yeah, at the expense of their mind being controlled, but semantics, dude. But I'm like, I'm wondering if they're for some bigger plan, I'm like, but what is he having them do? I think was my question. It seems like this thing was with the vault dwellers that Norm has with him. They seem to be whatever it was. What seems like Bud Askins' whole plan was going to be. So I don't know if that's what Hank is also carrying out. Like, he's going to somehow get people to spread this virus into the vaults, and then it's just going to end up killing whoever's left. So I don't know. Will you die by water, or you die by a forced virus? I don't know. It's bad news bears, like I say a couple times in this series.
I'm getting the feeling that Hank's kind of on his own thing now. I don't think he's trying to push any agenda that was in place. I think that, and I think this in large part because when we go back to the flashbacks and we see the young Hank taking notes for Coop's wife and doing all that, he's kind of a low level underling. He doesn't really have any importance. So yeah, he's not very important to the scheme of things. So I feel like that now that he's the one who's kind of positioned to do all the stuff that he's doing, he's like, why am I going to wake up Mr. House? Why am I going to help all these other people or just run the plan like we want to? Maybe I can redo this, the Neuralink chip to make people my minions, and I could be the one in charge. Now I could be wrong because we don't know. They haven't explained exactly what his plans are yet, what his intentions are. But that's just kind of the feeling that I get, is that he's kind of on his own thing now. But we'll see that. Probably we'll get that exposed on the next episode. If not, probably pretty early in season 2. But let's see. The next day, Stephanie and Chet are at their wedding, and while Stephanie says "I do," Chet hesitates for a minute before saying "I don't." Stephanie warns Chet not to decline, but Chet wants to have witnesses when he drops the bomb about Stephanie and her plans to hurt them. He announces his discovery of Woody's glasses in their disposal. Chet also reveals that Stephanie was not born in the vault, that she was actually 200 years old and she is Canadian, showing her ID as proof. The Vault 32 witnesses turn on Stephanie, and she runs away from her wedding, locking herself in her office with the others knocking the door, chanting for her to open it up. Boy, that was a fall apart right before you have a chance to see what the hell is going on moment for Stephanie, if there ever was one. That was kind of a nice little moment to see Stephanie finally get torched, especially by Chet of all people, who she's been just berating from the moment she laid eyes on him. What do you think of that scene, and how cool was it to finally see her get her comeuppance?
I love that for Chet and everybody else. Because I think I even right before we came on here saw I think it was that picture too. They're like God damn, finally I'm tired of this smug ass bitch. I'm like, right, like finally something did not go her way. And he just outed her to everybody, which was kind of awesome. I know it may have been for like dramatic tension when he's like, yeah, I found Woody's glasses in our disposal. And they're like, so do you have them? And he's like, no. And again, she has that little shit-eating ass grin. And I'm like, you can't win that easy. He's like, but hold on, I have her ID. Right. And that's what, the whole room just fucking turns on her. It's like, yeah, there you go. There you go, buddy. I'm glad you had a backup. And that they also may not have been aware that she was frozen, because I'm assuming they didn't know what was actually going on in those vaults. I imagine these meetings were just like the overseers come together in that little common meeting area between all 3 vaults and just do their thing, and I know what goes on behind the door. So
yeah, I've wondered at various points over the series so far, do the vault dwellers, the typical everyday Janes and Joes, do they even know that there are frozen people that one by one alternately are being thawed out to be the overseers of the vault? I wonder if they even know what that is. Some of them may, because I think you'd have to have some people in certain positions be aware of, if maybe not in on the plan of rebuilding the world after the nuclear apocalypse, but just for logistical purposes, you might have to have somebody, more than one person, going in there to check on things or to monitor or whatever, or to even maintain or defrost somebody when it's their time. But I mean, I've wondered if it's commonly known throughout the vaults that there are frozen people who are one by one becoming overseers. It's very strange, but yeah, it's interesting that they turn on the way they did. I am curious now as to how she's going to react long term to all these people who now know that she's full of shit, and B, what was in the box of Hank's keepsakes that she got. Was it some kind of was it maybe that virus?
That's what I keep thinking, is like maybe that was it. And like I said, I don't know what.
Maybe she'll think that all is lost for her. I'm just going to go ahead and drop this virus and get Vault 31 and 33, and I'm going to turn us all into mutant, crazy monster people. Maybe she just figures that's the best course of action. Kind of scorched earth if she can have what she wants.
Because you know what the thing is, like she keeps saying like, "Hey Betty, go get this box of Hanks and give it to me, and I'll give you half the water." I'm like, yeah, but have you guys seen Batman Begins? You dump the shit in the water, boom, now everyone's fucking infected with the virus.
Speaking of filthy Canadian hookers, say hi to Dr. Dick.
Yeah, we took your whole country and made it our 51st date. Fuck you, Adam.
Yeah, stupid Canadians. Thank you for Terrence and Phillip, though. We appreciate that. That's pretty. We're good looking out on Terrence and Phillip. We like it. But go watch Alex and the Garbage Man Monday nights, 9:00. Link in the description below. But yeah, I wonder if a scorched earth is just going to be her way to go.
Because I'm like,
if that is it, it could be something totally different.
Because I'm saying that could be the play. Is like she's like, I want this thing that Betty may not even have any idea what it is either. And she's giving it to her, and it's funny that she's just like, the way again she looks at her and goes like, I'll give you half the water, and I'm like, you're gonna poison half the water, aren't you? Because I'm like, that's kind of how it would work. I'm like, you could put that virus in the water, and everybody, oh good, great, we all have drinking water again. We can all take showers. We can, flush our toilets. I'm like, great. And then secretly you're ingesting this virus that is now going to horribly mutate you into God knows what. I mean,
super mutants if you're lucky,
which is still a bad day. Who knows what could happen? Like, I feel like that's the thing, is like that was her whole plan, that might be the way it gets carried out.
If Betty doesn't know what it is, though, I mean, because if I were Betty, I would have looked in that box and been like, exactly what is it this chick wants? Because if it's something that's way too powerful and too stupid that can kill everybody, maybe I just figure out a way to figure out my own water thing and not give it to her. Or did maybe Hank take it with him? Because if it's something like that, I can't imagine Hank would just leave it behind. Maybe. I mean, again, there's a couple different ways this could go. But I mean, if it's the virus, did Hank maybe say, hey, I'm going to keep this with me just in case? Or did he say, screw it, let the vaults fall apart and I will... Well, I mean, he could have got it before he left the vault. That's my guess. I mean, I have to go back and watch his first couple episodes of season 1 to see if he had time or an opportunity. But, I mean, he could have taken it with him. I thought
he got kidnapped. He got kidnapped by the Raiders, right? By Moldaver. So I'm like, I don't know if he really had time to just... He kind of got kidnapped. Yeah, so it's just been sitting. The thing now, while I like the world kind of falling apart around Stephanie, it just kind of makes me laugh that I'm like, yeah, she locks herself in the overseer office. I'm like, me knowing what I know about the games, I'm like, that every overseer's office has a secret, basically quick secret underground tunnel that leads you to the outside of the vault. Like, she has her own, like, they all have their own little secret path. You push a little button under the desk like moves out of the way, and then there's stairs that go underneath it and takes you right out to the door. So I'm like, she has an escape route. That'd be a funny little Easter egg to throw in there, but I'm like, she's not really trapped, like with the angry mob behind the other, on the other side of the door. So yeah. So they open that door and she's gone. I'm like, yeah, well, I know what happened. But that could be a way they get out. I don't know. Like I said, it leads you just shortcut right to the outer vault door. So I don't know.
That would be interesting. Let's see. Yeah. Did I get a picture of her brother? I have a picture of her brother I need to put up here for this next one because
Norm.
Norm, because he does not have a huge part in this episode, but it is.
He gets one line now and gets conked in the head. I was like, oh, God damn it, dude.
Pretty significant. Let me see if I can find one of the pictures of him. My old eyes got to make these pictures bigger so I can see them on the floor. Tell you, we'll do this one of him getting choked out because
I keep putting him in there. I try to label him something so we at least see it.
Why didn't
I know what it is?
Picture on there? That's annoying. There, we'll do this one of him getting choked out because that's a good picture. Let's see. After being choked unconscious, Norm wakes up to find the other recently escaped vault dwellers trying to decide what to do with him. Ronnie says that the Vault Tech handbook says impersonating higher management is punishable by death, which seems pretty tough for corporate standards. Look, says it. The rest of the team seems fine with it. When they notice Norm has come to, they knock him out yet again. Later on, Claudia tells Norm that they have to escape, but Norm tries to call Lucy on the radio, telling her he needs help. While the call comes through at Vault Tech, she does not hear it. She's actually walking by that office because she's on the way to destroy the mainframe. Norm also calls out to his dad, asking what will happen to their vault and questioning why his father didn't tell them the truth. After this, the Vault 31 comes to get Norm, and that's the only exposure we get to him for this episode. So we're gonna find out in the last episode of this season exactly how things are going to go for Norm. I hope. Jeremy, where do you think this goes for him?
Again, I want I want things to work out for somebody.
God damn it. I know I'm asking a lot of Fallout, but like,
I don't know. I I was hopeful that maybe like Lucy would have heard Norm over the radio, because I'm like, we had that shot of it, like, you know, when her and Hank are driving by, and then I'm like, when he gets on the radio, I was like, oh wait, is she gonna hear it because she's going back now? And I'm like, God damn it, of course not, because she's on her own little path here, and we're having this mirrored thing, like with the ghoul going into the Lucky 38 casino finally. I'm hoping like him and Claudia are able to somehow get their way out past these fucking company men, yes men of, you know, Bud Askins. Like I said, I Lunch Boy needs punched in the face too. I know he's like 8 feet tall, but you know, and Norm's like 2 feet tall, but still, David and Goliath, guys, like you can do it. I'm telling you. I don't know. Maybe they get a hold of somebody, but I mean, Hank's handcuffed to the oven, and like I said, Lucy's staring down the barrel of something else, which I have a lot of questions of. I don't know. Maybe somebody will hear him, but I don't know.
We need to get out of that room with all those vault dollars.
Yeah, I'm worried for Norm. I have a feeling he's going to make it out somehow. There's going to be some crazy escape attempt that happens that's going to get him out. But it is definitely he's definitely not in a good position right now. I'm wondering if he's going to get a chance to kill the what's his name, Aaron. I want to call him Aaron. The guy who is onto him. That's not his name, is it?
Ronnie.
I don't know why I was calling him Aaron. Maybe it's just sometimes I just want to punch Aaron. But
Ron.
Yeah. Sometimes like Ron, I want to punch you in the face. But yeah, I kind of want to see him take out Ronald at some point, but I don't think it's going to happen this season. I would be happy just to see him get out. That might be something they don't address until next year. I mean, because there's only one episode left of this season, right?
No, yeah,
so
one left.
8. Yeah, so episode 8, which is going to be dropping Tuesday.
Is it next Tuesday?
Tuesday or Wednesday? Wednesday, yeah, whatever. Tuesday or Wednesday next week at some point. So yeah, we're gonna have to see. But did I have a picture of? Well, I'm going to use this one because it ain't such a bad picture of things. Having teamed up, the Ghoul, Maximus, and Thaddeus, along with Dogmeat, make their way to the New California Republic's camp. Maximus reveals that the Ghoul said he would take them to Lucy, and the Ghoul says they're going to Lucky 38, but they're going the wrong way. They have to get into an impenetrable vault, which is also the same one the Ghoul's family is in, and they'll have to go across the strip to do it, which is occupied by, of course, the Deathclaws. So they need to kit up, as it were. As they keep walking, the Ghoul pulls a gun on Maximus, asking about the cold fusion. And let's see, I had to click on the picture and lost where I was. Asking about the cold fusion in his possession, Maximum reiterates that he's going to give it to Lucy because she is a good person who will do the right thing with it. The Ghoul accepts this answer and puts his gun away as they continue. In a flashback, headed back to the Lucky 38, Cooper Howard in his hotel with another woman while his wife Barb hides. And it is, of course, as we come to find out, Stephanie working at the hotel. Stephanie. And she mentions she's seen Cooper's face in the ads for the vaults. She asks him about how to get into a vault. Cooper says the vaults aren't what they're cracked up to be, and then maybe they should just hope that people do the right things so the vaults aren't necessary. Stephanie asks if she knows how she can get a job at Vault Tech, and Cooper points to the still unconscious body of Hank laying in a laundry hamper that he is paying her to do away with quietly. Stephanie smiles and takes the hamper out of Cooper's hotel room, and then Barb returns from the shadows to go stand by her husband. So now we know that for sure that Stephanie has got a little bit of a backstory with Coop, a little bit of a backstory with Barb. She's been around for a minute, and this was somehow her way in. I assume that Hank was her way into Vault Tech and into one of the cryostasis little things. Jeremy, are you getting that, or is there something I'm missing?
No, I think that was the we finally saw the connective tissue of how this all at least kind of got her assuming where she was, because if she was obviously in with Buds as Hank was, as you know, Betty, and she was too, Stephanie, she was one of the ones that were ended up in that vault and got put in a cryosleep. So maybe she wheeled him back wherever the hell he was supposed to be and waited for him to wake up, and then said like, hey, so because again, her whole motivation we know now is just like just secure yourself as best you can in this world, because some crazy shit is probably going to happen. So that seems like that was her ticket in. So it's funny, that butterfly effect thing, man. It's like, is it really Cooper's fault? Like, I mean, how is he going to know? How is he going to know that, like, him telling her to, talk to this guy when he wakes up about getting into Vault Tech, and he was just like, screw him. They don't. It's Vault Tech, whatever. I'm an actor. I do ads when they tell me to, and I get paid. And keeping that optimism of like, yeah, well, hopefully people don't do stupid things. We don't have to have a nuclear apocalypse on our hands, but such is life.
Spoiler alert, it didn't happen that way. Cooler heads did not prevail.
No.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that a lot of these characters that have kind of been on separate arcs are starting to come together, at least in the past, in the flashbacks now. I have a feeling it's going to be one of those things where probably not this season in the last episode, but maybe at various points over next season or various points over the rest of the run of the show that we're gonna understand more about how these individual relationships played out in the past that got us to where we are all at in the apocalypse. Because I would imagine that when Stephanie sees the ghoul again, she might recognize him as Coop. I mean, like I said last week, I've been kind of wondering how Barb's going to react to see Coop in his current form, how his daughter's going to react to seeing her father in his current form. Obviously we've seen this thing come to a head between Lucy and her dad, and how they were going to react to seeing each other again. But I had forgotten kind of over the course of the series at this point that all these people were kind of in the same space when all this stuff was being planned and executed. It wasn't until after that they've all been kind of separated. So these stories, while individual now, were at one point kind of interconnected, and examining that's going to be where a lot of storytelling is going to be. But yeah, I thought that was interesting that after seeing the events of the first few minutes of the show, that we would see Stephanie in a slightly older form being the laundry girl, that it was helping Coop out by chauffeuring, let's say, the unconscious body of Hank out the side door. But later on, Coop returns to the bar that he's visiting in the present day. There he joins Representative Welch, who we've seen here and there. And I thought she was going to be kind of important. And the end of this episode,
I thought she wasn't.
Yeah, the ending of this episode definitely makes her look really important. Thanking her for meeting him, as she thanks him for bailing her out of jail for being arrested a couple episodes ago. Cooper knows that she's a good person who wants to do the right thing, and he wants to believe in people like her. Welch asks how much Cooper actually knows about the company that put him on the billboards. He tells Welch that she already knows about Barb, that his wife is giving the most powerful weapon to the most powerful man in the world, Robert House, so that he can live forever in exchange for bombs from Vault Tech. When they do that, they'll be the only ones left, and that's what they want. Cooper asks Welch what she'll do with the infinite energy, and Welch reveals that she would give it away to the public. Coop knows how it's transported, but he isn't sure about giving the cold fusion to Welch. However, Welch can get him a meeting with the President of the United States, who just happened to have in Las Vegas, and Cooper can hand it off to him directly. If Cooper succeeds, he can end 25 years of war in one night. A big plot point, Jeremy. What do you think about the idea of the Congresswoman coming back and trying to connect Coop with the President of the United States?
Well, first of all, I did find a picture of it. For one goddamn thing, it's fucking Clancy Brown.
Yes.
That's pretty goddamn cool.
Yes.
Holy crap, what a fucking cameo. I mean, again, like we just said, I'm like, dude, he's in the episode for maybe 2 minutes, but still, I mean, that is cool. Of course, I'm a millennial, and I'm like, oh my god, Mr. Krabs is the president? That's wild. Or that fucking dickhead captain of the guard from Shawshank, is giving Andy Dufresne a hard time. Yeah, no, I love that cameo. That's cool. Him being the president. Yeah, they gave. I don't know. It's just like, it still seems like there's something wrong with that. It's like, because they hand that over, and then we're like, that was still the wrong choice, though, somehow, wasn't it? And again, I'm like, with the Enclave kind of keeping, what they do is, you have someone like this who'd be in your old government, so to speak, of the United States, and all those people obviously have a place in the vault and they have a place to hide,
And the Enclave goes like, yeah, now we're gonna kill all of you, and now we're gonna be the government. It's like, God damn it! Like I said, the Enclave is no joke. So I don't know. Maybe that's the leg sweep that ends up happening, but I know I want to be optimistic and say that was still the right choice, but allegedly it wasn't, because again, here we are. So fucking hell. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not. One of the things about shows like this, and this show in particular, is that you never know who's a good guy or a bad guy until they flat out prove it. It's like, because part of the reason why everything happens in Fallout is because corruption kind of runs rampant in the executive level of all of these companies. So if there was just a few good people that were in place, they could have kept the bad people kind of at bay. The bombs would have dropped, and life would have evolved how life was going to evolve for everybody on the surface. Instead of, the few people struggling to find water, food, and fighting, rad roaches and all kinds of other shit. But yeah, I am interested to see if Clancy Brown is a good guy or a bad guy. My feeling is that he's a good guy, because we're so used to seeing him as a bad guy. I figured that would be kind of a nice, like, whoa, wait a minute.
All right.
Nice double cross on us, because we're so used to it. He's played good guys before, of course, but we're so used to seeing him kind of play that shady character that having him be the good guy would be a nice little twist. Because it's like, even though he's a bad guy, everybody loves him. You know what I mean? But yeah, I am curious to see. Obviously, the last episode is probably going to expose his character for what he is. I'm interested to see exactly what he does. I mean, but whatever it is, I'm curious to see if things don't work out because he's a bad guy or because he somehow got screwed. Maybe he gets assassinated or something like that.
Like that's what I'm saying. The Enclave kills all the old former people in government that were in power, and they took over. Like, he could have actually been a good guy, and then again, the Enclave did what they did. So maybe that's what we'll see. I don't know.
Or maybe because it's like, spoiler alert for the show, we're going to talk about here in a minute. You see the congresswoman's head on a table hooked up to a bunch of wires and computers, essentially the mainframe. So it's like, was she kept alive because she was secretly one of the people that was involved, which would be a pretty good head fake, or was she just like, we got to have somebody's brain power to run this thing? It might as well be this nobody congressman. I'm curious to see how that works out, but we'll get into the details of that here in a minute, because I don't want to get too far ahead of things. But obviously they head to the strip. Our crew, the Heroes 3. Of course, one of them minus one arm, because it just kind of falls off as they're walking up to the gates to fight. He was just like, "Hey, all right, I'll go up there."
He's even trying to like rationalize. He's like, "Hold on, if I can just get my finger back in the trigger, I got it, guys." I'm like,
I understand.
Even Max is like, "Dude, your arm came off." I'm like,
right. Just sit this one out, buddy. Yeah, I appreciate him wanting to be part of the battle, but maybe just sit this one out with your one arm. But on this point is for Maximus to get between the ghoul and any of the death claws, which leads to what looked like an old Western standoff. While Maximus holds his own at first, his arm gets stuck on a car, and the death claw focuses his attention on the ghoul as he shoots electric rounds at the death claw, but they're just shaken off. At the last moment, Maximus sneaks up to the creature and decapitates it. The ghoul gets access to Lucky 38 while Maximus fights off the other death claws outside until they knock him back into Freeside. Once there, the people gather around him as a death claw gets ready to attack everybody. I wish I had that shot, because that death claw standing between, like staring between the door and those gates, ready to come out here and just wreak hell, was a great shot. But inside, the ghoul enters the house. The old penthouse office where we had seen him meeting with House in one of the flashbacks, but he doesn't find anyone inside. The ghoul hits a big red button on House's computer setup, which opens the secret room of the penthouse. The ghoul puts in the cold fusion into the lab there, and House's computer reboots. When it loads, House's consciousness is revealed to exist in the computer. The episode flashes back to Cooper and Barb as she points out that the only way to save their family is to save the world. The pair kiss as Cooper heads off on his mission, getting into the car with Welch and the President of the United States, played by Clancy Brown, of course, when Cooper hands the cold fusion over to the President of the United States. Again, this episode ended with kind of as much excitement as it started with. Again, a lot happened in the last couple of minutes of this episode. Jay, what do you think?
Holy crap! We had another fun. I wish I had that picture of the room that the NCR just had stocked full of guns. I was getting some fucking like Hot Fuzz vibes. Like, dude's got all those guns just stockpiled in his. Where'd you get these?
I found them.
Said he found them.
Yes, Bose.
Yeah, so you have a license for that? Yeah, there's one. He does for this one. You mean this one?
Oh, that's a great
If
movie.
there would have been a C mine in there, I'd have been like, oh yeah, this is my favorite show ever now.
What's the matter, Max? You ever take a shortcut before?
Jumps over a fucking bush. I don't know. Yeah, because first of all, I was gonna say I want to talk about how as soon as again I'm a nerd about this and I see it, the first gun and he opens up. I wish I had a shot of it. The ghoul has you mentioned it. He has a Gauss rifle, which holy shit, that's really cool. It is just this big fucking. I mean, you just charge it up. It does take electromagnetic rounds, and you just charge it up, launch it into stuff. That was cool. Cool to see the kind of an iconic weapon like the Gauss rifle making an appearance. That NCR armor that was really cool. I don't know if that's ever been a thing. I mean, it has kind of like the Ranger helmet. But I like that line that he, when everyone's walking up the street with him, and they're like, "What the hell? What are they doing?" And the ghoul's like, "Don't underestimate brand recognition." They see the NCR and everyone gets all hyped, and I'm like, "Yeah, the NCR did have power armor, but I think they stole it from the Brotherhood." That one seems like it's more. It kind of reflects like the Rangers, like they have that same kind of chest plate, the helmet. But this is obviously just a big, bulkier version of the Brotherhood's armor. Which if you're gonna go fisticuffs with a fucking Deathclaw, I think that's probably your best option. Because I think it's I gotta find the thing because it's funny how it happens to operate exactly the same way, and it's just something that Max is very familiar with.
It was super easy, barely an inconvenience.
I'm glad it handles exactly the same. It worked out for him. But yeah. So then Coop going into the Lucky 38, like I said, which is important because even when you play Vegas, no one has actually set foot in the Lucky 38 for the last like 200 years. And at this point, probably 215-ish years now, allegedly. So this was that moment I was talking about. This is what I wanted to see. I wanted to know, like, so what's Mr. House's current status? Is he still there? I have to assume he would be. He'd be too big of a character not to. Which I did find. Somebody just pointed this out, and I see it now. It's not a great picture. But right before he hits the button, there is an Easter egg to the game that directly ties it to it. There's that damn snow globe. There's that damn snow globe on the desk. There's a like side thing that you would do with Mr. House where you go around and you find snow globes throughout the wasteland and you give them to him and you collect caps for him or some shit. But it's funny that I'm like, that's a little Easter egg to the game that like, yeah, apparently the main character has been there and given him the snow globe, at least the one for the Hoover Dam, which you can see the game shot from it in the game down at the bottom half of that picture. But yeah, there's a funny little Easter egg there that apparently the courier has been by here. Oh God! But I saw that damn screen. Everyone was gone. I thought, I'm thinking Yes Man. I'm like, I know because when Yes Man takes over that screen instead of Mr. House, all the Scaretrons are like they are when Coop finds him in that room. But nope, sure as shit, there's his smarmy ass little face on that screen. I'm like, motherfucker.
Like, yeah, that's gonna be the end, isn't it? Just like, oh, hello, old chum,
and cut to credits.
Yeah, I kind of thought I was like I was wondering because I was thinking about like the who's the guy in Captain America, the Winter Soldier, the German guy that puts himself in the computer they end up destroying. But I was kind of like seeing that in my mind, and I was like, I bet you he went ahead and he pulled one of those. He downloaded his consciousness, his being, or whatever into the computer.
That's yeah.
But yeah, I thought for a minute I was like maybe he just went ahead and put himself in in one of those cryopods, and that's what's going to happen. Is
I think his body is physically there.
For a while. Yeah, because I feel like he's going to be a bigger problem if he's physically there. Him in a computer, I feel like even with the technology being fairly advanced for the game where they are in the world,
you still need you to pull some strings. Yeah,
I still think you just go there and plug the fucking thing and the problem's solved. I feel like it's not.
Yes, like I said,
unless he can pull like an Ultron and all all these other robots that are laying around. He can kind of jump in all those, control them all, and get to fight like robots being controlled by him instead of just him on a computer screen.
Yeah, he can.
But I don't know. Maybe we'll see that at the end. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty cool ending to this all, and even Coop for the journey that he's been on, anticipating finally getting to this moment. He seemed like he was kind of like, well, fuck, now what? Now what do I do? It's like,
I don't know. I didn't expect to get this far.
Even he didn't know that when he put that thing in there, what was going to happen. So as you can see, that little loading bar start to add up real quick, and he was like he was just like us watching. He's like, what the hell's going to pop up on the screen? I don't know. Is it just going to be information? Is it just going to be something? Is it just a prompt? Like to tell the computer what to do, or is it going to be this guy popping saying, "Hey,
it's going to be Mr. House,
buddy, what's going on?" But yeah, still a very cool way to end the episode for sure. But before the episode did end, though, I wish I had more pictures. Let's see. I'll just go. Oh, well, we did have this. This is what popped up on the screen.
Yeah, when he sees him. Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty wild. But at the Vault-Tec offices, the workers are still joyously working away on hooked up to their mind control devices. As Hank joyfully watches on, Lucy tells her father that this is one way to save the world, but it's wrong. When Lucy asks what it does to their brains, Hank honestly claims that it cleans the memories of the horrors they've experienced. And the higher the control the dial goes, the stronger the person's amnesia, and the mainframe plants new ideas into their heads, turning them into good people. Lucy insists on shutting this down and bringing Hank home, but Hank says once the process has begun, it's irreversible. In order to stop more from being made, they would have to destroy the mainframe that controls the boxes. But it's in the basement. Hank and Lucy take a golf cart down there, Hank trying to have one of these fatherly moments teaching Lucy how to drive, which I thought was kind of funny, but kind of obnoxious at the same time.
You don't need to use both feet. There's two pedals. You just need to use one foot. That makes no sense.
I'm like, it doesn't.
It really doesn't sometimes. I don't know either. He also points out that he wishes they had a normal life, to which Lucy counters that they did have one before Hank wrecked it all. Let's see. Back in the recreation of her bedroom, Lucy puts on the yellow dress, which I could not find a picture of, and makes her way to dinner with Hank in his fake vault. As they share a meal with Hank still handcuffed, Biff, played by John Grease, one of my favorite actors, refreshes their waters. And Lucy asked the question that I would have asked if I were her. He asked Biff if he remembers her. And he says that he remembers her from this morning, but not from when she and the ghoul met them earlier in the season at his lookout for the NCR. Hank says the NCR and the Legion are all the same. And when Hank burns himself in the kitchen, Lucy unlocks his handcuffs. Lucy says she understands. One side is murdering, the other side is just vaguely problematic. It's ultimately a trick because she then handcuffs Hank to the oven and takes away the pit boy. Hank was a good father, Lucy admits, because she's not a fudging idiot and heads to shut down the mainframe. As Lucy enters the vault where the mainframe is hidden, she discovers Representative Welch's head on a table connected to all the computers. And that was a very interesting a moment for me because I was like, I feel like she's important. I'm not 100% sure. You said that she wants to be from the game. So I thought maybe she was just fodder. Maybe she was just a way of getting us from one plot point to another. But no, her head is sitting there firmly on a table, very much dead, but with mouth tube and wires and so on and so on. And she is clearly in the Matrix somehow. Jeremy, what do you think this means? Is there something comparable in the game that happens like this, or is this something new?
Yeah, like I said, yeah, the Matrix was a good point because I was thinking when we're talking about these people, I'm like, is it better to be like living in this like weird ignorant bliss of like not really knowing what's going on, the horrors of the world? I'm like, yeah, but at what cost? You're enslaving human minds. Murder problematic, like Lucy said. I don't know what's the difference. Something like that. I mean, like I said, that's very Futurama of this show, which again obviously is some of the influence, or maybe vice versa, because this game came out in the late 90s, the first one did, and so did Futurama, so kind of in tandem. They came out around the same time. But stuff like that, yeah, like I said, there's stuff like Bud's brain. Like I said, there are like brains in the jars, or like robo brains, where it's like it's the brain, like the consciousness of a particular human, but they're in a machine. And there's that's kind of your, like you said, like your Matrix, that's your mainframe, whatever the shit. So it's kind of there. Maybe not to my knowledge of that degree, but I'm wondering again, what is her importance to this? Like,
because I'm still like, how'd she get there? Because I feel like the whole, like with Clancy Brown, like maybe there's some
way she ended up there. I'm still trying to figure that out. And why her? Why was she the one that was plugged into all that and feeding these people the ideas? Maybe she is the good person. Maybe that's, the most ideal person that they could find to implant these ideas into the people's brains. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's not that she's actually in on it somehow. It's just they're just using her good nature to try to feed these people. Again, it does offer kind of a weird dilemma. It's like, especially on Lucy's part, is do you allow these people to just remain good? Because maybe they will go out there somehow and start to infect the rest of this stupid world with their goodness and maybe kind of change the course of human history from there.
It's just the way.
Or maybe they don't stand a fucking chance because there's too much craziness going on in the post-apocalyptic nuclear radiated world that there's not much that any good can really do to save things. But that's the philosophical question. That's probably more of a long-term answer. But I am curious as to why her. Why her? Yeah. Why not Barb, or why not House? Why not anybody other than her? Because I was intrigued about how when they first introduced her, I even asked you, I was like, is there a character like this from the games? You said no, and I was like, well, no, not a character from the games. Maybe this is just somebody who's going to get us from the plot from here to there so that we can continue on. But she seemed like she was more important. And I said the thing about his friend as well, and we haven't really seen him here and there. Charlie. So I thought maybe I was just wrong, but I kept thinking, there's something.
I was sitting there like, damn it, Frank was right.
she's so understated. That was what got me about her. It was like she's so in front of the camera, but not really taking up any camera space. You know what I mean? It was really odd dichotomy of just her existence. And then when Coop saw her at the getting kicked out of the Lucky 38, and he helps her up, I'm like, she's back again in a very strange situation. I can't shake that there's something about her that's important. And I thought maybe that was going to end with the introducing him to the president. Like that was the whole point of her character. She's the one who gets Coop and the president together, and now we've kind of gotten all of her character that we needed. She's done her purpose. And then she walks in there, and I see her head there, and I'm like, maybe even I missed something. It's like maybe I even underestimated exactly what her character was going to be. But again, the question is why her, and that's the question that's going to be tackled in episode 8. But it's interesting.
Well, because wouldn't that have been one? Because like they were going back and forth between like the ghoul finding Mr. House's thing for the cold fusion to turn back on his computer. Like I said, his body, like I said, in the casino, his body it's still there, shriveled up and still being kept alive on some hell of like a life support. But obviously his consciousness is in the computers and the mainframes, and eventually if you give him the chip, he can go into the robots and the Securitrons. But like when they're mirroring that with Lucy finding out that the Congresswoman is like the mother brain, to use a different video game reference of this whole thing, I was like, wouldn't that have been one fuck of a gut punch if it had been Barb's head in that thing? Because I'm like, we're mirroring like him finding this, but it's like you guys are in the wrong, like, the wrong spots here. Like, damn, that would have sucked. But no, like I said, I feel like that's saved for a later reveal. Because I mean, the shittiest this wasteland can be sometimes. I'm like, maybe that wouldn't be the right way to end her character. I think Barb still got a part to play in this at the end.
Yeah, I've got. I pulled up something about the IMDb trivia about the gun you were talking about. The weapon the ghoul fires at the NCR shack, and later uses against the Deathclaw as the Gauss rifle. It appeared in several Fallout games. It uses powerful electromagnetics to accelerate projectiles to extreme velocities, far greater than conventional firearms. It first appeared in Fallout 2. Also appeared in Fallout Tactics 2001, Fallout 3 Operation Anchorage in 2009. Rifle can also be found in New Vegas, obviously. It came out in 2010. Fallout 4, Fallout 76. And apparently I don't know if this is some kind of real life stuff or it's just game, but there's been Chinese versions, American versions, and German versions of this gun that were made. So what it's worth.
Like I said, I don't know about the German aspect of it, but yeah, because remember the whole thing was we got into kind of a war with China, as we kind of saw with Operation Anchorage. I mean, in actually right here in this game in Fallout 3, there is Chinese stealth armor A, which is kind of admittedly pretty damn cool. Which is what the troops used to. That's how they even invaded America in the first place. Was this stealth armor they developed that basically turns you invisible. I'm like, yeah, that's how you get a bunch of troops to invade America. I'm like, yeah, that's how you do it. And they have Chinese assault rifles, which basically just look like these weird. It just look like kind of like AKs, what we think of as AKs. So yeah, there could be different little bits of it. This technology is being used by the U.S., by China, by fucking whoever. Yeah, it's a cool gun. Like I said, it's a cool. Just if you point one of those in somebody's face, and it's like, yeah, it's intimidating. And you hear it wind up like that, and particle acceleration puts a hole through you. Science.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if you spotted all these Easter eggs. It says here that several Easter eggs can be found in other posters that Vault 32's corkboard showing when the wedding announcement is there for Chet and Stephanie.
I was trying to pause that screen, yeah.
One poster advertising marksmanship's practice shows the Vault Boy as he appears in the sniper perk card from Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. Another poster advertising the Ninja Club features the Vault Boy as he appears in the Ninja perk card. And a poster below it has the Vault Boy as he appears on the Action Boy perk card in Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. Nice. A message posted by Davey requests the return of his copy of Dean's Electronics, a skill book used to increase the player's repair skill in multiple Fallout. There's just less than 4 or 5 games. A post from the top right corner mentions a showing of the pre-war film Night of the Fishmen's Revenge. That sounds like a movie we need to make, damn it. Starring Carl Dixon and Cynthia Marsh. Posters of this movie, as well as clips from it, can be seen at the Eden Meadows Cinemas in Fallout 4. Fallout 4 Far Harbor in 2016, and the Starlight Interstellar Theater in Fallout 4 Nuka World, which came out in 2016. Movie posters from this film can also be built as decorations in Fallout 76.
Yeah.
I don't know if you would call those or not, but I came across that earlier today, and I was like, I was on a journey to see if you caught them.
I tried to pause that screen real quick because I'm like, I'm sure there's all kinds of Easter eggs on this damn poster. I didn't quite catch it. And then, like I said, the Easter egg with the snow globe is even in this episode, which is wild. So, yeah.
And you probably know this already. Clancy Brown has a history with the franchise already. When Cooper enters the limousine, he meets face-to-face the President of the United States, who is played by Clancy Brown. Brown had previously voiced the character of Paladin Rhombus, the head paladin and head knight of the Lost Hills chapter of the Brotherhood of Steel in Fallout 1997.
Oh, yeah, from the fucking original. Yeah, that's a throwback. Jesus. That's right. Yeah, the original game.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in here that's too long for me to want to deal with right now.
Like I keep telling you, if I read you the CVS receipt list of making actors that have been in this game series, I'm like, it'd fucking blow your mind. Like, there's a lot. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're doing that in Last of Us too. I mean, they had the people that did the voices for the characters, the main characters in the game show up, and they've had other people that have been affiliated with the games show up as well, so it's not unusual. I'm not surprised. It's just, but these are people that we've been watching for a long time in a lot of different things. People like Clancy Brown and things like that. So, even Lucy's yellow dress is a bit of an Easter egg. The yellow dress Lucy wears, given her by Hank, is heavily based on the female variation of the dapper gambler suit from Fallout New Vegas, which is given as a reward after winning over 3,750 chips at the Atomic Wrangler Casino in Freeside. So even the dress is a bit of an Easter egg.
I couldn't remember if it was one of the laundered dressers or if it was. I always forget to go to that damn casino. You do get stuff for winning, so much money at the casinos. Until eventually they kick you out because that's how it works. And then you just go spend all those chips at a certain casino because the game is glitchy and it can just give you infinite caps. But you didn't hear that from me. If you have a version of the game that doesn't have the DLCs, if you have one that has the DLCs, they patched it. So if you have just a straight original copy of Fallout New Vegas, you can and the way the save system works, you can just definitely cheat that achievement. Just go to a blackjack table, save your game, go in and play a hand, just bet the max amount. If you win, back out of the table, save your game. Go back in, repeat. You know what I mean? If you lose your hand, just hit start, load that last save, and you'll just keep winning right in a row. You can easily clear out all the casinos and get a shit ton of caps. And then use the glitch to, just keep getting an obscene amount back, because there's the Vicky and Vance casino, which is definitely a Bonnie and Clyde joke. The Vicky and Vance casino, for some reason, those chips stay in your inventory, and no matter how many times you cash them in, that entire amount will come back to you in caps. I don't know why it does that. So if you have, like, say, a couple 100,000 caps from doing that, that will just keep coming back to you. And you just keep turning in chips over and over and over and over and over. And there's no excuse not to go buy yourself some big guns. That's what I'm saying.
Or heavy fists, or
there's death claws out there, man. You want to kid up, like you said,
or more drugs.
Oh, another Easter egg I did see in Freeside. There was a particular shop that I mentioned a few times. I wondered if we'd see it. You can see half the sign. It says Ralph's. There's a shop in Freeside called Mick and Ralph's. Like, one guy sells guns, one guy sells like everything else. So I saw Mick and Ralph's right before they went in to go fight the Death Claws. I did notice that.
So real quick before we get out of here, Jeremy, there's only one episode left in the season. What do you think we're going to get from this next episode? I mean, do you see a crazy ending? Do you see a significant death? What do you think is going to happen in this next episode?
Well, because we have to leave some stuff for season 3, I imagine. I don't know. See, I want one of the things to be that at least, well, I don't know what the fallout is going to be from this meeting, but I hope like the Ghoul and Barb and like Janie finally see each other. Even if it's at the last second, I'm like, I don't know what comes of that moment. Like, maybe that's the end as he finally gets to see his family. We did see, oh God, we saw Mr. House like reactivate. Now, my next thought is if he came up on the screen and then those Securitrons all pop up too with his face on it, it's like, oh shit, you're in the wrong room, Coop. That's not good. I feel like something with Mr. House has got to happen. Again, he's still got to have some sort of play in this. Again, I'm hinging on the fact that damn snow globe is there. So I'm like, that means the main character from the game came by at some point and gave him that damn snow globe. So I'm like, yeah, did he give him the platinum chip too? Because that means he took over the Securitrons. So I don't know. That could be. Oh God, if that little chip fucking shows up, I'm gonna lose my mind. Because that's that whole MacGuffin from the game, the platinum chip, which is what you get shot in the head over by, Matthew Perry's character. So, that checkered suit wearing bastard. No. I feel like something with Mr. House, and I feel like maybe the Ghoul is finally going to get to his end game, but I'm like, that might kind of be the end of it. I feel like Lucy, I don't know. Because like I said, I think we'll see the fallout of Max's decision to whack old dude with the super sledge kind of boil over more in the third season, like, which is why we have maybe the super mutants coming through to wage a war on them too, because that's also a tale as old as time. These Brotherhood of Steel and the super mutants going at it. So yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, I have a feeling that it's going to end on a pretty big cliffhanger. My gut tells me that cliffhanger is going to be Cooper finally opening his wife's cryo vault, and that's probably where, and maybe we start to see her eyes flutter open, and that's where it's like cut, go to credits, and that's what we're going to be waiting on, and that's because one of the nice things about a show like this getting into a third season is that we don't have to spend the first episode explaining where everybody is. It's like we just get to start balls to the wall. I mean, here we are. Let's do this. That's part of the fun of ending a season of television with cliffhangers. You get to start right there in a very exciting part in the next season. So I have a feeling it's going to be a cliffhanger ending. Significant death, possibly. Stephanie, if she doesn't escape somehow, I think somebody gets to her and maybe whacks her. I mean,
like I said, I got an escape route.
never
in the overseer's office.
True, and maybe that could be another kind of separate cliffhanger that happens. Is maybe they spend the episode trying to get into her office, and when they finally do, they find what you were talking about. Like she had a whole escape plan the whole time. Maybe we'll see like that box open up on her desk, obviously disheveled, and there's like
I see that
she had
little
grabbed
green goo,
something
that
and left.
virus.
And she had grabbed something and left, and just kind of left everything else there, so she'd at least have that. But I mean, I'm trying to think of who could possibly be dead. Maybe, I mean, obviously we're gonna get a little bit more Clancy Brown. Maybe we'll see his death, which would be significant enough, I guess. I'm curious to see what happens with her brother, whether he gets out or whether he kills that guy and finally gets rid of him. I'd like to see their death claw battle. That'd be kind of fun. Do we get to see Cold Fusion? You know, what is he finally gonna get it to Lucy? I mean, whatever. How's that gonna happen? Is there gonna be? I'm hoping there's a good piece of dialogue between Coop and House, even if it is just taking place between Cooper and this TV screen. I think a good piece of dialogue, a good conversation between those two would be very interesting.
To be fair, that's how you see him in the game. He's always just on this TV screen talking to you. So I mean, that's the look. Like that's how you always see him. So that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how things go for some of these characters. I mean, Stephanie could get killed, but she may not. But I think the big cliffhanger
she poisons the water and pieces out.
Maybe something she does right as she's leaving. That would be that. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. That'd be exactly the kind of thing she would do. But yeah, it's like scorched earth. If I can't have this place,
the little bottle
can.
just says like FEV virus on the label, and then you see her just took off the thing and she stuck it in the water. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah, but I really do think it's going to end with Cooper at least opening his wife's vault, because I think it would be interesting to see him spend an episode or two next season struggling to decide if he wants to open his daughter's vault. Like maybe you would be better off just to let her sleep and not have to see dad, no nose, fucking red face, red skulled, not the dad that she remembers. Because like I said, I think I don't think it's ever been explained in the show anyway, like what his journey was from when the bombs went off and they were supposed to go into the vaults to today. How did he end up in that coffin? How did he become a ghoul? Did he just decide not to go in because he was like, I'm not going to follow you into this thing. I'd rather die out here in the world with the rest of humanity. But he didn't die. He ended up just being irradiated and turned into a ghoul. I'm curious to see how he got there. So maybe at some point in this episode, they're going to explain how he became the ghoul, how he transitioned from being Cooper into the ghoul. Because like I said, they haven't really talked about that yet in the series. And that's an interesting journey. Maybe that's something that might play out over a couple of episodes of flashbacks next year. That would be
kind of like we've been doing. Yeah,
because I think
his story.
I would like to see them actually pull that out over a couple episodes and really delve into it a little bit, because that'd be an interesting story to kind of watch play out for an episode or two. But I don't know. I'm thinking a cliffhanger though, because they've already got season 3 has already been greenlit. They've probably written most of it by now, if not all of it. So I would imagine it's going to end on a pretty good cliffhanger, and then we're just going to have to wait until whenever season 3 comes out to see where they pick it up at. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see what episode 8 is going to bring. I'm confident it's going to be a solid episode. This entire series has been solid so far. But Jeremy, give me your final thoughts on episode 7 of Fallout.
Oh, dear Lord. Like I said, barreling towards the ending here, which I think might be some big stuff happening, or maybe some big stuff already happened. That cliffhanger they ended on with the Congresswoman. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I turned into fucking JonTron. I'm like, what the fuck? Turned in for a second. Yeah. Because I'm like, as far as I know, I think she's an original character, but I'm like, that kind of idea has always kind of been there. So yeah, hopefully some storylines get closed out. But like I said, we're leaving some stuff open for season 3, like that they've already planted seeds for. Like I said, with the super mutants, with maybe we'll see Clancy Brown. We'll probably see what him and maybe the Congresswoman have to do with this, and she's kind of more of a prevalent cliffhanger we just left off on. And I don't know, does Hank break off the handle of the oven and come running after Lucy? I don't know. We'll find out next time on Dragon Ball Z, I guess.
Yeah, he's not going to stay handcuffed to that oven for very long. But
no.
But yeah, I'm interested to see where all this goes. It's going to be pretty damn interesting. But thank you to Jeremy for being the expert on all things Fallout and helping me sound a lot smarter when I talk about this television show. I appreciate you very much. Where can the folks at home find you, my friend?
I'm here. I'm here Tuesdays, Thursdays. We got one more episode of Fallout. One more. And this weekend I'm going to see Markiplier's movie Iron Lung. So that's exciting. More video game adaptations put to the big screen. So I'm excited about that. Maybe like I said to you, I'm like, if you get to see it, I hope we get to do that one. I know I'm bringing all of my friends and my mom to see this movie. So even if it's just me and a couple of friends, I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about this movie because I'm excited to see how this one plays out. That's what I got going on.
Yeah, I am making it a point to go see that movie this weekend. I'm intrigued. Like I said, low budget in horror tends to make magic. I mean, some of the best horror films ever made have been made for bus fare. And it doesn't look like they spent $200 million on this. It looks like they really tried to focus on story and some
very
dark, scary imagery. So I'm interested. I'm not a huge Markiplier fan. I've watched a couple of videos. I don't dislike him. It's just not something that has ever really appealed to me. But I mean, I watched the trailer. It's very interesting, and I'm going to go check this movie out because I'm confident it's going to be something pretty good. If it does suck, then I'll just let you guys review it on Tuesday. But one way or the other, I'm going to go see it this weekend. And Tuesday, there will be a review for Iron Lung coming up, and then Thursday we will finish the final episode of season 2 of Fallout. Episode 8, whatever the hell it's called, I forget. But yeah, we will be back here then, and then we'll take probably a week or two off to recharge and just kind of figure out what we're doing moving forward. I'm still working on that. I'm going to have one more person for that, and that's going to be cool. But thanks to all of you for coming out, hanging out. We appreciate it. Thank you, BJ, for coming in. Thank you, Dr. Nick, for coming and saying hi. We will see you guys on Tuesday. Till then, adios. Yeah, if Stephanie dies, I mean, who do you want to kill Stephanie if she's got to go? I mean, I kind of want Chet to do it.
I want Chet to do it, but I would hope that maybe she didn't check the body, as any good Bond villain does. She didn't check for a death, and Woody comes by and just whacks her. That's it.
Or even the nerdy guy that Chet was supposed to play chess with, or checkers with. If he did it, that'd be kind of cool. That'd be cool to see him whack her. But we'll see.
Hell yeah.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.